Fallout from the Speaker of Parliament dismissal of a motion for investigations into the Merchant Bank Fortis deal, the minority in Parliament has accused the Speaker, Edward Doa-Jaho, of predetermining the outcome of the motion it filed for an inquiry into the sale of Merchant Bank to Fortis Equity Fund.
The ruling will usually take into consideration the views expressed by parties in a matter. It is significant to note that the ruling from the Right Honourable Doa-Jaho represented just one side of the equation. All the arguments that we raised by myself, by the Honourable Papu Osei were not factored into that so-called ruling. Clearly, that ruling had been prepared before Parliament sat that fateful Monday.
My name is Bright Nanamfo, and this is today's big story. Now let's get the details of this story. The Speaker on Monday dismissed a motion by the minority led by its Deputy Leader Dominic Nitiwul seeking parliamentary investigations into the sale. He said since the case was currently before a court, any discussion in the House would prejudice the case.
The point of order is hereby sustained. Accordingly, the motion calling on this House to investigate the offer by an acquisition by Fortis Equity Fund Limited and other related matters is ruled out of order. I must quickly add that there are other tools available to this House that can be utilized if the House so decide, and it is entirely left to the House to decide as much.
The minority is not happy. Their leader, Osei, is claiming the ruling of the Speaker of Parliament was prepared even before the House sat to deliberate on the matter. Addressing the media in Accra on Thursday, Osei said it took the Speaker less than 15 minutes to produce and deliver a ruling that will ordinarily have taken him not less than an hour to prepare.
Indeed, the matter of the sale and acquisition of Merchant Bank by Fortis Equity Fund remains a matter of urgent public importance as provided under Order 51 and hence the recourse by the Honourable Member. Right Honourable Doa-Jaho in 2009 as the then First Deputy Speaker and by virtue of that office Chairman of the Appointments Committee in the matter involving Honourable Mumuni, who had been nominated as Minister for Foreign Affairs and who had a case pending in court, ruled that Parliament is an independent arm of government and the pendency of a case in court should not be a bar on the conduct of business in Parliament. That ruling followed after the minority leader had, among other things, reminded him of a ruling by the Right Honourable Peter Lajeti, which ruling he cited. But that same ruling was put to him at that meeting. Again, late 2012, when the Electoral Commission determined to create additional constituencies, a citizen took the matter to court, and the process was served on Parliament. The Right Honourable Speaker Doa-Jaho, who was then the First Deputy Speaker, then again indicated that Parliament cannot allow itself to be gagged by what happens in the courts, and he reminded all that Parliament is master of its own procedures. Accordingly, he presided over the majority decision to create 45 additional constituencies whilst the case was being heard in court. Today, the same Speaker rules that if a case is pending in court, it cannot be debated in Parliament. Consistency and integrity are essential components and ingredients of good governance.
Thanks so much for staying there. Dr. Anthony Osei is a member of Parliament for Old Tafua and is also a member of Finances Committee of Parliament. He's a member of the minority. Doctor, welcome to this big story.
Thank you very much.
The minority talks about integrity and consistency. You think it's not there in the ruling that we saw on Monday?
Not at all. In fact, if you go further, what you find most surprising is that the sources he quoted to back up his ruling, he stopped at a certain point and did not read the most important part, which says that if a matter is of national importance, we may make reference to it.
Parliament could go ahead and discuss it.
In the same ruling, and I'll look at Eskime, the 24th edition, page 441.
Right.
You see what I'm talking about? That is rather significant. Why did he stop there when the material part was the next sentence? So we find it. It's very unfortunate.
Is it the case that before this issue was sat on Monday, there were concerns that the case is in court, so we can't talk about it?
No, there was no concern because there has never been any concern. You heard Osei Chairman Sabosu. This particular speaker, then he was the first deputy speaker,
right,
has ruled twice in 2009 and 2012 that cases that were in court, we could sit on. The case, first one was Honorable Mumini. The second one was the creation of the 45 constituencies. He was in the chair. So what is it? And that is the latest ruling. But he found it convenient to quote a 2001 ruling of Peter Alajete, the late Peter Alajete, when his ruling is the latest. It's very unfortunate that we had an opportunity, in my case, I believe, to let the Parliament be itself. And by the way, you should know that this motion was not filed now. This route, we were compelled to use this route because the same Nituo, on behalf of the minority, had filed a motion way before we rose. The speaker did not deal with it. He called in just about when we were about to rise and said that he would not let it come to Parliament. The reason is that the people who were invited did not have any locus.
Right.
That is false. Anybody can come to Parliament, either on the committee or the committee of the whole, and have locus. It's when we are sitting in the plenary that they don't have locus. But a committee of Parliament is Parliament.
So the minority even smelled a rat before the whole case went to
I am of the opinion that his ruling was written before we met in the morning. It couldn't have. All the sources he quoted and the research is that it could not have been done in the time that he said he was going to do it. It's not possible.
How sure was minority that Parliament could sit on a case that is in court?
Because the speaker, when he was deputy speaker, made us do so. In the case of Mumuni, and in the case of the creation of the 45 constituencies. And parliamentary practice around the world that he quoted allows us to do that, except he did not quote that source. I'm surprised that he did not quote that source. And as I said, you can look at the reference. He stopped right before the most important part. And he says, Parliament may. And he himself has decreed that it's of public importance. In any case, the other parties were moving with lightning speed anyway. And we are talking about, for Christ's sake, contributors' pension. We are not talking about anything. Nobody is doing an investigation to find faults.
Right.
Right now, you hear people saying all kinds of things about what transpired. We don't have a comprehensive version of what happened. We don't know what exactly the Bank of Ghana did. We don't know what SNIT did. We don't know what the Merchant Bank Board did. You had six members of the SNIT board now reversing themselves. I mean, all we are saying is that, halt. Let us, for the sake of Ghana, do an investigation, and it will strengthen the arm of fortress.
But you don't think that, well, the transaction is going on, and so whatever investigations is ongoing now can be used, because if the sale has been done.
Parliament cannot do anything about it. The Constitution bars us from overruling the court or passing retroactive legislation. So an investigation is fact-finding. In any case, what is there to hide? If it's proper, I was a member of the Merchant Bank Board back in
the days, right?
In the days. And I want to be invited to give evidence. We have nothing to hide. If you read Honorable Asare Ketia yesterday, he was saying that I was a chair of the board. Very sad.
You're a member of the board?
Yes. But he categorically, publicly said that I chair the board. That kind of information is not only false, but this is what we want to stop. We want to stop people from speculating. It's a financial system. Speculation doesn't help us. If there's nothing wrong, what is there to hide?
What do you think is wrong with this particular sale of merchant?
We don't know what is wrong. That is why we want to find out. When a major stakeholder like TUC which was part of the initial decision making, decides to reverse itself. That's 6 out of a board of 13, and says, please halt, give us more information. Bank of Ghana says no. Why? What is the rush? What is the rush? So when the NDC party clearly comes to oppose it, it means the party is now supporting it when they don't have the facts. Nobody.
The General Secretary is saying that don't drag Mohammed's name into it.
No, but the General Secretary has already dragged. Look, unfortunately, I have to say this. His statement about President Kufuor, I think he ought to retract it. A General Secretary of a ruling government going on there saying that President Kufuor knew Muhammad's mother, who by the way, has passed away, and therefore President Kufuor influenced it. I think this is not for good for political democracy in Ghana. I think
was it not trying to say that, well, because he knew her, he could have?
But is that, I mean, a leading member of a Republic of Ghana making that a speculative statement? I mean, if you were not a seasoned politician, I'll say it's a different matter. He has been an MP, and this is a former head of state. This is not any other body. If for nothing else, you ought to give him respect, unless you want to take him to court for something. You don't just go and personalize it and damage his credibility. I think he should apologize.
What kind
I will stay categorical that I have never been a chairman of the board.
You were a member of the board.
I was a member of the board. And I'll relish being invited to give evidence. And Osei can tell, being the leading member of the NDC, knows the circumstances when we were there. So I don't know why he go and personalize it. I'll advise him to apologize.
I'm trying hard to speak to the chief whip of the majority in Parliament, but where we have gotten to, the minority have tried on several occasions to get some explanations into what happened, the sale. You hit the block. The motion in Parliament, you hit a block in Parliament.
But that's
now,
that's not the end of the world.
It's not. You're talking about setting up your own inquiry into it.
Sure. What stops that?
How would that work?
The Constitution enjoins every citizen, including yourself, that in the case where you think there may be misuse of public funds, to do what is necessary to protect it. So it's a constitutional matter. If Parliament doesn't want to do it, I'm a citizen, you are a citizen, we as a group, as a minority, are citizens. And we will work on that and other options available to us.
Some argue that the sale has been done, and so, like you said, not even Parliament can put in a law that is.
If you recall the ruling of the judge in the case of Andrews Awuni, even the judge said Parliament could do that. So why is Parliament being denied this opportunity? It is good that Ghana or Ghanaians know that there's nothing untoward about it, because I'm saying a major stakeholder, the workers, 6 members of the board who originally took in the decision, are saying, please, we didn't have enough information. 3 or 4 board members of Merchant Bank resigned. It means that it is better that all of us know why these circumstances occurred, so we can sleep better. Right now, we cannot, because the information is not coming out. And it is better that we put it together, rather than everybody speculated. You know, when a general secretary goes and says things about this President Kufuor, it is not good for Ghana. Ghanaians must know that, look, this what happened, and then they can make up their own mind.
So the minority's interest is not to stop the sale, but just to get to know how the transaction was done.
We cannot stop the sale. We don't have that locus.
Right.
So how can we stop the sale? We want Ghanaians to know the facts, particularly since a lot of people, the Christian Council...
No, when you say Ghanaians know that the bank is being sold to 40 equity, so what facts are you talking about?
Do they know the circumstances? Don't they care to know?
According to the information they have, the bank was collapsing. The bank was being run down.
Where's the evidence? We want that evidence that it is collapsing. We want that evidence that the Bank of Ghana did due diligence, that the valuation. Look, let me give you an example.
You have been on the board of the bank.
Definitely.
Is Merchant Bank doing well?
I have since 2009. I have not followed Merchant Bank, but I'll cite something. In 2007, Merchant Bank won 7 banking awards. 7.
That was 2007.
Yes.
This is 2014.
Yes. So a question.
The bank was sold in 2013.
Yes, but I'm saying you and
between that year and now, it could have been run.
You and I ought to know what has happened. That's number one. Number two, if one suitor values 75% of the shares at 90 million, and in a few months, another suitor values 90% at 42 million, you ought to ask, what happened in the ensuing months just it's good to know. If there's true deterioration, let us know. What do we mean by deterioration? Let us know. I think people ought to know.
I'll come back and but let me speak to the Chief Whip and Member of Parliament for Aswasi Alhaji Mubarak, Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka. Now, thanks so much, Muntaka, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, the minority is simply saying that they have no idea how and why Merchant Bank was sold. The majority in Parliament, do you know why?
It's obvious. Their exposure levels were beyond the tolerable level. Bank of Ghana could not tolerate their exposure levels. They were so indebted. They were in a lot of crisis. I believe that there was no doubt in anybody's mind about the need for the bank to be restructured. And I believe that the issues that are being spoken now is whether the process is that the best that could be done. And I believe that the PROs of these Merchant Bank and Fortis are well versed to deal with this issue.
Well, Alhaji Muntaka, I can tell you, and I will tell you that there is so much doubt in the minds of the minority as to why the bank was sold.
Yeah, that is their view. I mean, in every situation, you have people who have their own reasons for doing what they are doing. And believe me, for those of us in majority, our concern is not the sale, but the method with which they wanted to deal with the issue in Parliament. That is our biggest concern. You cannot use an unconventional method. Being in minority, try to do things and turn the House into kind of apartheid. No, we will not allow you to use Parliament like an apartheid regime where minority decide what happens.
Can you explain?
You build consensus properly. When things are in court, we don't talk about them in the House. There have been so many examples, so many instances, both under MPP and the previous NDC speakers. And I believe that this is the constitutional provision because they say there's no provision in the Constitution. Check Article 110. That's the basis upon which the standing order is formulated. And the standing order 93 clearly states, in the opinion of the Speaker. So if the Speaker says that, in my opinion, I think at this instance, this will have an effect on the matter before court, that you leave it at there. You may disagree with the Speaker, but to be calling the Speaker names, to be insinuating wrong motives and all manner of things to the extent of saying that you are going to conduct your own investigation. What kind of Democrats are these?
You were saying that you have not seen or come across any instance where a matter is in court and yet this very same House you belong to has gone ahead to discuss it. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying that most of the issues when they come is in the opinion of the Speaker. For example, look, when there's a matter before Parliament and someone runs to court, as it did happen when we were creating the constituencies, the matter had started the process in Parliament already. And also remember, it was in the legislative aspect of Parliament. We were in the process of legislating. Then someone runs to court. If you observe, the court itself then did not listen to the case until when Parliament finished because of this same kind of situation, respecting the arm of government. So, I believe that's why in our standing order we have it clearly that when these matters are there, you don't talk about it. The situations vary. For example, they were talking about Honorable Mohammed Mumun. This was somebody who wanted to become a minister. You say that because something is in court, it should not be vetted. And we said that no, the constitution of this country clearly states that when you accuse someone, until he is proven guilty, that person cannot be said to be guilty. So on that basis, we will go ahead and vet the person because that's not the finality. Because if the court finds him guilty, automatically he either has to go to prison or he has to be sanctioned by the law court. And when that happens, it is enough grounds for him to be removed as a minister. So how do you relate those ones to this one?
So your argument
that they are at different levels.
Your argument is that the standing orders of the House that the minority is quoting that has been used a couple of times in this case doesn't work at all.
That's what I'm telling you. You see, most of the standing orders that they quoted, you just go and read the standing orders of the House. I marvel when they cited at standing order 50. Go and take the standing order 50. Read all of it. Don't just take the section that suits them. Just you, as a journalist, I challenge you. Just go and read. You see that article, order 50, consistently keeps saying that in the opinion of the Speaker. They cited another, order 91. That has to say that when a motion has is not being debated, you cannot hold it on point of order. Just go for order 91. You see that there's no such thing. So the court section of the order, and they will not place them in the statement for the ordinary Ghanaian to read the orders.
Hold the line for me. Hold the line for me.
I'm challenging you. Just go, get the standing order, read the full text of the standing order, and you see that it's even inconsistent with what they themselves are talking about.
Hold the line for me.
If not, this is not unfair to the listening Ghanaian. What else?
Hold the line for me. Let me get Dr. Anthony Akutose to react. So the majority is claiming that even the way if I should pick his word, you took the motion to Parliament, and even the standing orders you were quoting, you have twisted them.
No, we couldn't have been.
He said in 90 he talks about in the opinion of the Speaker.
That's what we said. He said it's an opinion of the Speaker. What we are saying is that this opinion that the Speaker uses now, he did not use in 209. And in 209 case, you see, we're going to question the minister on the issues, some of the issues that were in court.
Right.
Because he was coming up as a minister, and some of the issues that had been raised were going to be raised. What we are saying is that he should go back and read Eskime.
Did you build consensus taking this motion to Parliament? He claims that you didn't build consensus, and he's even using the word apartheid.
I'm surprised that he's using such vile language. The Constitution requires us. We are enjoined by the Constitution that if you won't allow me to bring a motion, then 15% of members can request it.
Could you have gone into consensus to get more members?
The Speaker did not allow this path. He did not give us a choice because he had dismissed it with a very, in my opinion, was a flimsy excuse that they didn't have locus, and they were aware. So now they come back and say, we are calling Parliament. They had made up their mind. But we will continue to investigate.
So, Honorable Mutaka, let me come back to you. Now, I'm sure you heard Dr. Akutose say, in the situation they found themselves, there was no way but to go ahead and put in the motion.
I mean, my colleague knows that he's not being fair. He's a ranking on finance. He knows that when the budget is presented, budget supersedes almost every business in the House. And he knows that. He knows that usually we use between 8 to 10 weeks to debate budget and get it approved. This time, we had only between 6 to 7 weeks to deal with it. Within that, if they were truly interested in this matter was there, it was not in court, they could have brought it then. By the time they started even talking about it, that's around the 11th of December, already the matter was already in court. So the Speaker said, fine, you wanted us to invite these people to give us some education about it, but you know that they don't have locus on the plenary, and that's what you are requesting for. We could do that on the committee of the whole, but because of the budgeting, kindly let us go. When we return, we can invite them to come and give us some information. If you are saying that it is for purposes of we knowing what is truly happening in the whole deal. That's what the Speaker said. And look, my colleague Honorable Akutose knows many speakers during budget time, no matter, unless it is a statement of extreme importance. When it comes to other things, even the plenary, look at sometimes during budget time, how we were struggling to get members to sit because they were engaged in the committee work, trying to finish the budget of their sector. So let us be fair. Let us not create a situation and create the impression as if there was some deliberate attempt to frustrate.
Well,
many speakers, my colleague and I were there. One were in opposition, they were in government.
Again, stay there. Now, you wanted to react to...
The reason the Speaker gave at that time was that they didn't have locus. Look, we rose earlier than we could have. I think we left on the 18th.
Right.
We could have met to debate the motion and start the investigation, 19th or 20th. It was just to bring the motion because the whole plenary cannot do the investigation. It would have been referred to a committee.
The committee, right.
So we could have used 15 minutes of the 19th. 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, to say that, look, set up a committee and start. So his reason was that they didn't have locals. He didn't say it was in court. See, so let's not go back and make up reasons. You give a reason, you give a proper reason. Don't say that the matter was in court.
Let me wrap up with Alhaji Muntaka. Now, the minority says that, well, not over yet until it is over, and so they are beginning their own inquiry into the sale of Merchant Bank. Your reaction? We are wrapping up this conversation.
It's for you to judge them, whether these are Democrats. I mean, in a democracy, we all know what happens in the democracy. You try to build consensus. If it fails, you try to do like they did. It fails. I mean, you cannot say that you are putting up your independence.
I'll give you the chance to react.
He should withdraw the word.
You cannot do that. It is not there anywhere. But if they so wish, they can claim to be doing it. But if they invite anybody, that person is not mandated to go, simply because that's no committee of the House. It's not Parliament.
Right.
It is just some individuals who will be inviting you. If you so wish, can attend.
Alhaji, before you go, kindly withdraw the use of the word apartheid for me. The minority thinks it's not too friendly.
Apartheid regime was minority trying to rule majority.
I know, but...
And that's exactly what they wanted to do.
But kindly...
You would think that you just want to come and rule majority of us.
Alhaji...
Alhaji... to build consensus.
Alhaji, kindly withdraw the word for me. That the minority wanted to rule the majority, and let's move on. Kindly.
That's exactly what they wanted to do. But fine, if he feels offensive, if he feels offended, I'm sorry.
Alhaji, thanks so much for withdrawing the word, and of course, thanks so much for speaking to me on the big story. Let's wrap up this conversation. Yes. You're moving into an inquiry of your own. You've asked the public to even
those who want to assist,
get to information.
Sure.
How successful do you think this will be?
We don't know. We don't know, but we are determined to bring out the facts to the Ghanaian public and any other options that are available to us.
And from what is happening, does it mean that Parliament, in some cases, is unable to work to the benefit of the public? Those who voted for them to go and sit there.
But that is why the opportunity should have been given to Parliament to investigate. That is the whole point. It would have been brilliant in a bipartisan manner so that it's seen as not being political. But the way the path is taken, we've lost that opportunity, and I think it's unfortunate. The credibility of Parliament will remain to be doubted, and it is not in our interest. I think they should have gone that way. The perception being given that maybe there's something to hide. Maybe there's nothing. So you come in the open, you put out all the facts, and bingo, people will rest assured. But you go through this manner, through the Speaker, through the Majority Leader, violating procedures. He talked about a procedure of point of order. Our standing orders tell us that until a motion is made and seconded, you can't even give a point of order. But the Speaker allowed the Majority Leader who has sought guidance, not a point of order.
Right.
So, when you do these things, the impression is being that you have something to hide. If it's proper, let's go through let him move the motion. Because as it is, the motion was not before us because it was never moved or seconded.
It was not moved at all.
So how can you raise a point of order? And now standing on this, you see that a point of order can only be raised when the motion has been moved or seconded. In this case, it was not done. And you tell me that it was not pre-planned. I have my views.
We'll leave it here. Doc, thanks so much for speaking to Dr. Anthony Osei is the Member of Parliament for Otafo and a member of Finance Committee there. We'll get you more on this particular issue. The second part of the show is coming. Stay there. I'm coming back in a moment. Welcome back to today's big story. Time now to get interactive, and we'll be talking about an issue I'm sure a lot of you will be not too happy. It's about defilement. 60-year-old man defiles a 4-year-old girl, gets to court. 36 months or 2,000. He pays 2,000 and is set free. That's the situation. Gladys, welcome to the show.
You, Nana.
It's quite a sad situation.
It is. It simply means that if you're a rich man and 4-year-olds are your taste,
right?
You finish and just drop 2,000 and go your way,
and you're free.
And you're free.
I'm getting
so
sad myself today, but I hope our viewers, the international community, will tell us exactly
how
their
they
feelings
feel
about this particular issue.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you, Nana, once again. And it's quite a sad day for me. I'm sure it is for you too, looking at the comments we are having on our social media. But, well, my name is Gladys Osei Oredu, and I will be getting interactive with you right here on Joy News on today's big story. Stay with me. Thanks for coming back. So Joy News has been following the story of a 4-year-old girl who was defiled by a 60-year-old man at Afienya. Well, he was arrested by the police after Joy News broke the story. It was a day of joy for us, but just when we were getting our acts together to see him sentenced, he gets away with it. He was tried at Itema Circuit Court and was asked to choose between going to jail for 36 months or pay a fine of 2,000 Ghana cedis. Well, the girl in question is almost paralyzed and has sustained bruises around her vagina. All right, I will be playing back an interview we had with the girl, but you could join us via our Facebook, internet. The Facebook is facebook.com/joynewsontv. You could also send us a tweet, twitter.com/joynewsontv. The handle is @Joy News on TV or #JNInteractiveGH. You can also send us email joynewsim@multitvworld.com. So keep your comments, keep your sentiments, your emotions coming through, and let's share them with the rest of the world. Let's just get a playback of that interview we had with Superintendent Kwesi Fori during our news at 8 p.m. yesterday on this issue.
Based on the medical report stating, among other things, that it was an indecent assault, meaning he used his hand, in penetrating, the small girl or the little girl's female organ. So we charge him for indecent assault, and he was taken, to a Tama Circuit Court B, where he pleaded guilty, to the charge, and the judge and the court, in his wisdom, fined him 2,000 Ghana cedis in the 36 month IHL. This was what happened. The court, has done its job. Though, as police officers, they're looking at the harm that was caused to the little girl. We are not happy, but we believe that the court in its wisdom has taken a decision, and I think we will inform our authorities accordingly.
What other options are there in this case?
Well, now that the man has been fined 2,000 and they paid, and he's now been left off the hook, one thing is definitely we'll build his criminal record for being convicted, and I believe that such a person, with such a criminal background of trying to injure, little one, it is unfortunate that you're left off the hook, but we can, as I said, we're going to inform our authorities, and they may decide, the next line of action.
Could it be that the prosecutors could not really present a strong case?
Oh, the prosecution presented a strong case, in spite of the grandmoms, even absent and even voting away with the little one. The prosecution came out strongly. The man even pleaded guilty, before this honorable court. But as I said, the court in its wisdom decided, to fine him 2,000 Ghana cedis in the 36 months IHL. And for one to plead guilty, in court suggests or connotes that the prosecution was so strong, investigation so strong, that the man has no place, to hide except, to plead guilty. But as I said, we are not happy about it, but the court has spoken and will inform our authorities accordingly.
quite a sad situation there. But what can I say? Well, you have been saying something. Let's hear you out.
Such judgment is inhumane because that law has favored people who are defiling children, and it should be revised. And the reason being that I can also go and defile a child. I know by Romis, by the end of the day, I will be asked to pay a certain amount of money, and this money is not any huge amount of money that I cannot pay. 20 million is nothing. I can go and pay 20 million and continue the practice, which is very bad.
Actually, so far as the man have paid for the money, I do not think there's, because that's why that you have offended or you have done something bad to the girl, and the girl will not feel happy for that. But so far the judge come out and said the man should pay this amount of money. Like for me, I think they should jail the man. You should not pay that amount of money, because right now you wound the girl or you have damaged the girl something, and I don't think it's good.
I think that they're supposed to punish. I mean, the man's supposed to be in prison so that he's supposed to be a deterrent to others.
I think such a judgment is bogus. It's supposed to be revisited again. This case should be sent to a superior court whereby they can be able to see it again, because this judgment means what? The girl's right has been violated. Yes, and buying it or paying such amount of money is not equivalent to what has been done, the damage that has been done. So they have to really sit down and then look at the case again, and then come out with a very, very adequate measure that can be able to make sure that what the punishment has been given is good.
It's unfair. It's not right, I would say, because if someone is given a judgment, it's a judgment. They are supposed to go according to it. So if the person will go halfway and just be freed, then I don't know. I will say we are not safe. We are not safe because it means that the rich can get away with anything, and the poor have no justice, and it's not right.
Yeah, it's not right for them to release the man like that, because it will motivate other people to be defiling the youngsters, the teenagers, that's the youngsters. So I don't think it's the right judgment they've passed.
All right, so those were some of your opinions, your comments on the issue. Really, I am saddened by the whole turnout. Well, 2,000 cedis, what would that do for the girl? Well, I agree with all of you totally. Something must be done to make this man pay for doing this to a little girl. Anyway, we also asked you to tell us whether our laws on defilement are stringent enough.
From this judgment, I will say no. It's not. It's not at all. It's very, it's not. It's very, very bad. I think if the leaders will be more right with their words, with their oaths, if they can be more just, with what they say and what they do, then everything will be better. People will go according to the law, and these things will not be happening at all for people to even judge unfairly.
Well, what I would say is, so far the lawyers or the judge can say he should pay and the man to go ahead to do that, well, that is okay. But for me, it's not good for me. They have to retake the law again and do something about it. Thank you.
Oh, no. They're supposed to have look at it again. Yeah.
And so what exactly?
Laws on defilement are supposed to let the person to be put in jail, so that's what it's supposed to be deterrent to others.
I don't think so. They are so strict. They're supposed to be they should be able to draft another thing how you should punish it to go. And I think justice is not for sale, and that they're supposed to do something about that. Thank you.
I think they should review. They should go through the law again, and they should they should add something to it, because you releasing the man, I don't think is the right thing to do. It will motivate other people to be defiling this thing again. The teenagers, the youngsters, the girls, so they should review and go through it again. That's all I can say.
Osei is our Eastern Regional correspondent, and Upper East Regional correspondent, and he joins me via Skype to find out a bit more about defilement situation in the Upper East region. Hello, Albert.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, Albert, I hope you're doing fine. Quickly tell us, how is defilement rate in Upper East region?
Well, in recent times, I haven't particularly heard people report defilement cases. Previously, we used to have one case or two once in a while, but in recent times, as a journalist, I haven't heard people complain about defilement cases. So I would say in recent times, as far as the Upper East region is concerned, defilement cases are quite on the low. But that could be because mostly in some of the rural areas, we don't have police stations here in the Upper East region. So maybe there could be, but you don't get parents going to report these cases at the police stations.
I see. But would you attribute this to an effort that was put in checking the menace?
Yes. Previously, there were cases where teachers, I know a case where a teacher defiled one of his students, and it became a big case. It went to court eventually, and the teacher was sent to prison. And so a lot of people have become more cautious. And the media played a role in putting this case out there. So a lot of people became much more aware that when such things happen, they need to get to the police station and then report. And so I think that it boils down to the fact that the police here have really been very active in terms of, prosecuting people who, defile young girls or who defile children. I remember in one of the cases, there were efforts by the teacher involved to try and get the case settled out of court. But when the police got wind of that, they made the case a civil case. It meant that now that the case had come to the notice of the police, it was no longer up to the parents of the girl to press charges, because it was a defilement case, so the state was to pick it up. So I would say that the police has done quite well as far as pushing and getting people who defile children prosecuted is concerned. And that's maybe the reason why recently, as far as the Upper East region is concerned, we don't have so many cases of defilement.
Albert, thank you so much for updating us on the situation in Upper East region. It's good to hear that defilement cases have gone down drastically with the help of the police and the general public. So I believe that we should all rally behind that crusade and make sure that defilement really drops, because this is just not in good taste. A 4-year-old defiled by a 60-year-old man, and he only pays 2,000 Ghana cedis and gets away with it. That's very unfortunate. Well, let's look at some more comments coming from you. So at this moment, I'll just catch a breather. When we come back, we'll go straight to some of your comments on our other social media platforms. Stay with us. So you are still with us on JN Interactive, and we are talking about the issue involving the 60-year-old man who defiled the 4-year-old girl. So you have been posting some comments on our WhatsApp. So let's just quickly go through some of the comments. So Richard says, this coming from Ekuba, he says, absolute rubbish. He should be put behind bars for life. Okay, so that's coming from Ekuba. She says, absolute rubbish. He should be put behind bars for life. I agree with you, Ekuba. Abdul Hanan says, I think the judge has to either be examined or investigated. Some of these judges, the little said about them, the better. That's amazing. 2,000 or 36 months for an almost paralyzed girl. Musa says the law of defilement must be relooked again. It's very sad. Yeah, very, very sad. Okay, so we're still taking more comments from WhatsApp. Richmond says, if this girl grows to hate guys, you wouldn't understand. Yes, she will have a long story to tell. When she was 4 years old, she had to go through all that. Ace Ike Hood says, they should add 60 to the 4, making 64, and jail the man with that. I agree, absolutely. Yes. Eastwood says this man should have been castrated and sentenced to jail about 100 years. It's about time we had stringent punishment for defilement cases. So I agree with all of you. Albert says, Ghana, me heart bleeds for this country and its justice system. Instant justices and justice through unjust court, which is better. Well, Victor says, since when did custodial sentence or fines become the preserve and choice of the accused person? Ghana and jurisprudence for you. Yeah. Maxwell says, it does not baffle me. This is Ghana for you. Well, sometimes it works, but sometimes you just don't understand. Yaya says, this man should be jailed forever. That's coming from Yaya Issa. This man definitely must be jailed forever. Anafo says, I blame the judge who presided on the matter. Well, somebody has already suggested we should investigate him or examine him. Emmanuel says, that is a Ghanaian judge. For you, Emmanuel, not all Ghanaian judges are like this one. Gabriel says, point of correction, the judge should go back and reorganize himself or herself and come back. Chinebe Eric says, we are not serious as a country. If I had the opportunity, that man will never see sun again. Sebastian says, that defines the term Ghana. Oh, are you sure, Sebastian? We have some positives too, though this is unfortunate. Then it says, what was the judge thinking? I pray that next time it happens to the daughter. Okay, well. Abubakar says, oh my God, what a judgment. That's from Abubakar Al-Salam Barrows. That's quite. Emmanuel Aiko says, no, obviously. Well, so that's it. Jeff Morgan says, oh, why? I can really understand the emotions, the sadness with which you express in those comments. Let's now look at Facebook and what you have been posting there. So we said a 60-year-old man defiles a 4-year-old girl and he is set free. He was tried at a Tema Circuit Court and was asked to choose between going to jail for 36 months or pay a fine of 2,000 Ghana cedis. The girl in question is almost paralyzed and has sustained bruises around her vagina. Do you think the punishment meted out to this old man was stiff enough? So we asked you to share your thoughts with us, and you posted quite a number of thoughts. Many of you have posted. Francis Nani says, do laws work in this God-forsaken Ghana of ours? Johnson Aworo says, hey, Ghana, only judgments favor the rich. Conlan says, if a fine could pay off this crime's punishment, then it should be the grand total of the man's 36 months income, plus some reasonable damages to save and restore the little girl. Yes. Well, Alvin says, God is the best judge. Ahadro says, you see, in Ghana, the law is only made for the poor people. If you have money in Ghana, it means you are above the law. I think that's what you mean. Supposing this happened to some poor man, he would have rotten in jail. Osei says, I think the judge does not have a female child. Well, Nagasti says, you know what? I lost respect and trust in our forgive me, in our judicial services after the election verdict. So I'm nowhere near surprised to hear this. Trust me, fire burn, bad mind. All right, so Nagasti, well, you made me say something I shouldn't have said, Nagasti, but I can understand your anger. Alexander says, Abretri Ninasa. Oh, really, Alexander? They get away with it? I'm surprised to hear. I wish you had told us which particular arbitrary you're talking about. That would have been helpful, because I don't think it happens. They get away with it just like that. No, some countries are more principled, and they won't let you go free with just 2,000 Ghana cedis, and the girl's life is destroyed that way. No, it doesn't happen. Augustine says, remember the last days, and that Jesus did not come with peace but a sword. Okay, so let's all check Matthew 10:34-35. Sometimes it calls for prayers, serious prayers. Sam Kush says, it's too bad and unacceptable in our country. Do we have options in our law? What kind of judgment is that? Yes, 36 or 2000. It's not Boatin. It all boils down to the laws of the country. I believe the judge acted in accordance with the law. Wanderson Pomawun, okay, forgive me, says the judge have been seen in chambers. That's the only logical reason. Hey, Ghana and corruption. Raimo says, Emmanuel Ogboru says the judge knows best. Well, obviously, he knows why. Awuku Makafui says, does it matter what I think? Does my opinion make the girl's life better? So now people can go on a raping spree and pay off to stay out of jail. Madness. Yes, that's just what it means. With this kind of judgment, that is just what it means. Let me just take my last comment here, and it's coming from Austin Tay. He says, corruption has hit the judiciary. Where are we going? Look at the election petition. Oh, God save Ghana. Well, this is where I draw the curtain on GN Interactive. It's been quite a sad issue we are all bantering on here. We pray and hope that justice really prevails and that little girl would see some joy in her future. My name is Gladys Osei. Nana has joined me.
My name is Bright Nana.
My name once again is Gladys Osei. Thanks so much for your time.